Round two, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Magic the Gathering, Friday Night Magic, live from the Game Haven in Riverside, Ohio. We are Dayton Magic Club. I'm Ryan Johnson, joined in the booth by Scott Campbell for round two of five for Standard tonight. The matchup we have for you today should be an interesting one. We have longtime BMC member Kyle McDaniel. He is playing, we have been told, Nia Walkers.
Yes.
I'm not 100% sure what his list is, although I assume there's Nissa. Elspeth?
Yes, I can assume that.
These seem like the good planeswalkers you
Xenagos.
want, right? Xenagos is the red.
Yes.
Maybe some Chandra. Chandra's good. I like Chandra.
Could be.
Versus Brandon Davis, who we think is on Junk. That has been his deck of choice for much of the Standard season. It's a pretty tried and true list. I don't think his is particularly spicy, just a good, solid Junk cards.
As he puts his deck upside down on camera.
Just to help us out. We appreciate that. Brandon is flashing us a land to let us know that he's still on that Junk list.
Right.
Courser crew picks.
Yes, Courser crew picks for sure.
Planeswalkers.
Sin Collector, Planeswalkers.
Removal spells.
Yeah.
Sylvan Caryatid.
Elspeth.
Yeah, mana acceleration into big bombs, like the Junk decks traditionally offer.
The Johnny Mentor of Heroes.
Oh, that's such a good card.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to see Planeswalkers, and none of them are Jace. So everybody can calm down.
Yep.
It'll be okay.
Although it'd be kind of cool to see the new Jace, Living Guild Pact, do some work.
I have been playing the new Jace, and he is doing some work.
You like the new
Jace? I have
Jace?
Karanos and Jace Living Guild Pact on the board. I feel like I have the top.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's a powerful effect, banned in Modern.
Yes.
So, here we go. We're getting ready to, I don't know if we resolved the die roll. We were busy talking about Jace.
Yep. See, one Magic player mentions Jace, and like the whole room's on fire. That's how it is. There will always be an iteration of Jace in Standard.
Yes, indeed.
All right. What does Kyle have in his hand?
Well, players look happy, and we're getting ready to start. Brandon is on the play. He's going to do the famous turn one scry.
Yes.
That these three-color decks like to do. Helps to fix the mana, helps keep a good ratio of lands and spells. Kyle's not having any of it, though. He is going straight for the Elvish Mystic.
Yep.
Brandon have the kill spell? Yes, he does. You realize when your opponent plays a mana elf, you probably want it to die.
Yes, very soon. Kyle said he has been enjoying Genesis Hydra lately.
That card is sweet.
Yes.
That card is a sick one. I want a Genesis Hydra into Elspeth like real bad.
Heck yeah. Kyle, most known for his control decks.
Yes.
And well, I think I played him, and he played like a mid-range deck at one point. But
yeah. Kyle basically likes to tap for like big X spells, and he just traded Sphinx Revelation for Genesis Hydra.
Yes.
And we'll see what this Nia Planeswalkers list is all about.
All the shock lands.
Yep.
Getting value.
And there is a Courser Prufix, one of the defining cards, certainly in the later parts of Standard. It took a little while for people to really realize how powerful that card was, for it to really spread to as many archetypes as it has. But certainly a very powerful effect.
Another Born of the Gods type card. We saw Brimaz last round.
Yes.
We're seeing this now.
Born of the Gods 3-drops all night long.
A set that people have kind of looked down upon. Okay.
It was a Heroes Down
Yes.
on the Courser Prufix. Brandon's going to town with the Scavenging Ooze, which seems to be his plan A at this point. Looking for the die. There it goes. Kyle playing at a very fast pace here. Scrying, keeping. That's what seems like casting Planeswalkers.
I know, right? And both these decks are chock full of Planeswalkers.
And I do like a Planeswalker.
Yes. For those not in the know, Planeswalkers have been around since Warwind. But I really took off in Charge of the Law.
Yeah, and it took a while to kind of find the right power level, but now I think they're doing a really good job of printing interesting, powerful Planeswalkers that aren't too good. We got kind of a backlash. We got some real bad ones. Tybalt. But even other ones that really didn't see a lot of play. They've started to push that power level a little more. Now we have some real good, fun, bomby Planeswalkers that still feel kind of beatable, though Elspeth is kind of borderline on that one.
Yes.
Kyle content to make his land drops here. It looks like a Chain the Rocks in his hand.
I believe so. He's got plenty of mountains to do it.
Yep. The question is, do you take the Scavenging Ooze or do you wait for something juicier? Looks like he's decided he's waited about as long as he can.
You can just take that and hope he doesn't have Abrupt Decay, but even if he does, he's going to play Mana Dork.
It is true that your Chain to the Rocks are a lot worse against the decks with main deck Abrupt.
Yes.
But he decides to go for it. I think it's a good idea. Even if he has the Abrupt Decay, you eat the Abrupt Decay and you take the counter off the Scavenging Ooze. So that's reasonable.
You at least power down Ooze. Yeah.
Yep. Kyle indicated that he's enchanting that mountain. And Scavenging Ooze is under. Brandon is deciding whether he wants to respond. Of course, you have to see the way Chain the Rocks is worded. I think you can respond to it and kill it and not lose your Ooze forever. I think it has a modern templating.
Possibly. They've been doing that a lot with, looks like an Advent of the Worm and a turn there.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And there with this 5/5 worm.
Brandon's certainly dictating the pace of this game without anything even too outrageously powerful. You know, he's just playing creatures.
Yeah.
Kyle has struggled to do anything really except develop his mana base this game, although that stopped right now.
Pretty good. And we're just going to blow the board.
The whole board.
Kaboosh.
So, when you play cards as powerful as Elspeth, the same thing goes for Sphinx Revelation. You can just kind of get a feel for the pace of the game and decide, I don't need to do much except live to 6 mana.
Yeah.
I have the Elspeth's going to take over the game if I can live to 6 mana. Of course, Hero's Downfall is a card. That Wrath effect was certainly very good, though. Brandon looking like he might be out of gas.
In a way, it's like he 3-for-1 in there.
Yeah.
You cover the token.
And the backup Elspeth, just to break the back.
Elspeth and her other sister, Elspeth.
Yep.
Whew. There's some soldiers.
In for one.
Attacking with the keyboard. That's awesome.
Brandon looking for another. Yep, he's got nothing but Hero Downfalls.
Runner Downfall.
However, the 4 power on board is no joke. I don't know if Brandon plays any sweepers.
Oh, this guy I think here is pretty good.
Yes,
Let's
that is
just, power
really
up
good.
all these dudes.
And just disgusting.
Yeah.
So, I don't think Brandon is playing main deck Brown and Sorrow
No.
or anything like that, so he's going to have a hard time catching up to this board state before it just kills him.
It's going to end here pretty quickly.
He needs the 4th Hero Downfall, and then some way to clean up the board.
Was that an Abrupt Decay on the Chain of the Rocks?
No, it was a discard spell that took the backup Chain of the Rocks out of Kyle's hand.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just getting information at this point, I would imagine. He is not quite dead on board, although that doesn't help.
Right. Yeah, that Flukinous will help take care of any potential threats in case the board is wiped. Here's something. Looks like a Bioblight?
No. What was that? I didn't catch it. With a Bioblight, it obviously would have targeted the soldier tokens.
Yeah.
Brandon reveals not much of anything, and that was it.
Golgari Charm to -1 to elf.
Ah, yes. So,
that's pretty quick.
Sometimes you just draw a whole bunch of Planeswalkers.
Yeah. This is what happens when there's 2 players pretty versed in Legacy that play Standard. It's very fast-paced game.
Absolutely. Very bomby, very swingy. We didn't really see Brandon's deck do much of anything. No. He played a couple of creatures, a bunch of removal spells. But then at the end, he ran out of removal spells and just got behind on board.
Yeah.
It's the danger of playing these mid-range decks with, again, we talked about this in round 1. Sometimes you draw the wrong half of your deck, and there Brandon drew the answer half without really drawing too many powerful threats on his own.
Right.
It's very unlikely in a matchup like this that a single
Advent of the Worm.
Advent of the Worm is the one who's going to go all the way.
Even Blood Baron, he did kind of run that out there. I kind of wonder if maybe Brandon rushed that a little bit.
Maybe. The threat of Elspeth is very dangerous.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Brandon, they both have very powerful sideboard options with playing 3 Codex. Kyle is going to have access to more removal spells if he wants them after seeing that game 1. I don't know if he does. What's that?
Elspeth tokens, Satyr tokens from Xenagos. Archangel Toon triggers.
I am completely in love with that.
Can we see it?
I would love to see it.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, Kyle has extra power plus. I don't know if he wants to change the rocks anymore, and I think we see that he does not. He saw both Abrupt Decay and Golgari Charm in the main deck there, which makes your enchantment-based removal pretty poor. You really can't count on it, even if it's good at taking out an Advent of the Worm or so. Just not really going to get the job done. You can bring in maybe some Mizium Mortars or something a little more permanent removal if he has access to those.
Yeah.
But we certainly saw Kyle's deck having no problem going over the top of Brandon that game. Just a couple of runner planeswalkers in a row is all it took. Just two Elspeths and a Gideon. Johnny.
Johnny. Oh man, Phil is a Gideon.
Oh man.
Not the Champion Justice, but Gideon Jura.
But the Gideon.
Yes, the one and only Gideon.
So long lost and lamented Gideon.
Yes.
So after seeing that game one and being familiar with these players' decks, who do you favor for the rest of the matchup?
I have to favor Kyle here. I mean, the colors that he's playing, he's got access to, at the very least, 3 planeswalkers, 2 of which we just saw.
Yes.
He gets that Xenagos out there. Xenagos into a Johnny Mentor of Heroes.
Very good.
Pretty awesome.
Yes.
And then the ability to just gain 100 life.
And Hero's Downfall has done good work in Standard at containing the powerful planeswalkers, most notably Elspeth. But Kyle's deck is very good at overloading the amount of removal that Brandon has for those planeswalkers. Now, theoretically, Brandon could draw a bunch of Thoughtseizes into a bunch of Heroes Downfalls in a very particular order and contain Kyle's walkers, but any one of those planeswalkers, uncontested, is capable of taking over a game. And Kyle plays quite a few of them.
Yes.
And the mana acceleration to get them down in a reasonable rate.
The Elspeth, I mean, you kind of look at it like, for +1 gives a 3/3 creature that, if this is blocked, make it a 2/2.
Yeah.
It kind of seems to have that ability.
And Brandon's certainly no stranger to powerful effects in his deck either. I don't know if he plays Vraska. Vraska would be very good in this kind of matchup. Just more Heroes Downfalls. Kyle showing off his hand to the camera.
I'm seeing I saw Genesis Hydra in there.
Yep, and it's a mana acceleration, so.
Land, Carroted, some more lands were good.
Yep, I think that Kyle is keeping mana acceleration, land, Genesis Hydra. I can't blame him. That seems real good to me. And he knows he's not under an enormous clock from Brandon either. He's not going to get out the gate like Rabblemaster, although Scavenging Ooze is one of his more aggressive threats. If Kyle doesn't play any creatures into it, it doesn't really get to grow.
Yeah, this is kind of telling me Brandon's got removal on hand.
I think you're probably right. Although Cargoted is notably good.
Yes.
At both blocking Scavenging Ooze and not dying to the black-green deck's plethora of removal.
Right.
That's a really good Magic card.
We might see some Drago action on both sides of the table here.
Yep. Just both players have opened their mana bases, scrying when they can. And this game, I think, this style of play, as we discussed, does favor Kyle, who definitely has a action-packed endgame. Where Brandon is playing a little more in the mid-range of things, which means he doesn't want the game to go as long.
Yeah.
He's got to get the beats in where he can, but these 2-power creatures are going to just be blanked by these target hits.
Absolutely. Yeah, this just in, creatures with Xenagos on the field can fire out that not the Carroted, but the Genesis Hydra. Make it really big.
That is really, oh man, I want to see that.
Could we maybe see like a Gen Hydra for Ruarthar here? Just to blank Brandon's removal?
Oh, I'm just in love with that as a concept.
Follow-up story, the breaking news. That happened.
There's a Johnny.
Yep, there we go. Let's put some counters on that plant. Maybe. Or are we going to dig?
I think we're going up. He is wide open.
That's true.
So if he ticks down, he's going to die.
Oh yeah.
He couldn't theoretically tick up and live, and that's exactly what he does. Looks like he kept in at least a couple of Chain the Rocks. I saw him pull all 4 out. It's possible we didn't have enough cards to bring in. I think it's a Chain the Rocks.
Yeah, it's Chain the Rocks. Looks like a Courser also in Kyle's hand.
Courser seems like a pretty natural fit for this deck, and really pretty good at blocking and gaining life. Yeah, if you're Kyle, all you want to do is make land drops and prolong the game.
So you can lay your bomb.
Yep. And if you're Brandon, you really got to get Kyle within striking distance of your fatties before he just locks it up under like 3 synergistic planeswalkers. And it's interesting how well the planeswalkers in Kyle's deck actually work together. They're good at making tokens and pumping creatures. They're good at making mana to deploy your bigger threats later down the road. And any 2 planeswalkers work pretty well together, which I think is really interesting. Especially with a Johnny to find them.
Right.
I mean, everyone's dream was when a Johnny was first swallowed, the Johnny come down, pluses, finds Elspeth, untap play Elspeth.
Right.
So.
And have blockers.
Yeah.
Always seems good.
And then a Johnny gets to pump for Elspeth tokens. I mean, it's just win-win. So, Brandon deciding how his attack is going to go this turn. I think if you're Kyle, you're pretty happy if it's a Lifebane zombie, which seems very good in this matchup.
Yes.
Most notably, not that it's going to take big creatures out of Kyle's hand, but they can attack through his blockers into his planeswalkers.
So I see an Elspeth?
That's an Elspeth, a Genesis Hydra, and a Courser of Krupix, I believe.
I think the Genesis Hydra is probably going to go.
Yes, I think you just cannot let him untap in Genesis Hydra at all. Although, there's something to be said for taking the Courser, just because it's an efficient blocker earlier. But I think I'd take the Genesis Hydra here. I start to get beats in with that Lifebane zombie, which Kyle's going to struggle to answer. Which I like. It sneaks in under. It's not big enough for Elspeth to kill, and it attacks very well through Kyle's token-based defense. Also, man, they printed that cycle of color hosers in that
Intimidate.
Yeah, man, that card is really, really nasty. A lot better than the red one we got. You seen a lot of Mind Sparkers ever get played?
No.
A little disappointing. I was hoping it'd at least be a goblin.
Not even Loken. I like convert a mana cost less than 3 dice.
Yes.
Place Mind Sparker.
Yeah.
And he and I have had many matches.
Gets in.
That card would wreck my face.
I'm going to assume attacking to Johnny.
Yep.
Oh, it looks like he may have split the attack.
Interesting. Well, he didn't have enough power to really kill a Johnny.
So he was want to take a bite out of it while still getting Kyle's life total down. His plan is to be aggressive with this Lifebane zombie and really pressure Kyle's life total. It does throw off Kyle's game plan here of deploying Elspeth because he can't use Elspeth to protect his walkers anymore.
Right.
Although it's still not a bad magic card.
This is where Chandra would really come in handy to deal 1 point of damage to that Lifebane zombie.
Yep, I agree. I do like the Chandra.
I think we're just going to play the Courser here.
That seems reasonable. You have to, I don't know exactly what Kyle's configuration of the deck is at this point. I don't know how many answers he has to a Lifebane zombie. Excuse me. Which means, if he's got to take an inventory here. What am I going to do about this Lifebane zombie? Am I cold to it? What's my best out to the 3-power Intimidate attacker? I don't know how many Chain of the Rocks are left in his deck.
Right.
I don't know if he has red-based removal. That may have been a Chandra. It is a Chandra.
There it is.
With a Johnny.
Get in there.
And Jacob, the spotter, is telling us, of course, that with his closer-up view of the battlefield, Mizium Mortars is available in Kyle's deck.
That is
which,
true.
as a big mana deck, that certainly makes sense as a finisher. So he does have some outs that don't involve Chain of the Rocks, which is good. And, of course, Chandra, very powerful in this board state.
Okay, so I think we announced the +1. Did, a Golgari Charm happen or something? Nope. Okay.
Just taking his option, making sure he's not missing anything. Chandra, the fact that Chandra gets to take up to a reasonable amount of loyalty is pretty good there, too. And now the Sylvan Caryatid can come down and be an effective blocker again. Well, this Chandra, plus the Ajani, threatens to show Kyle an enormous amount of cards every turn if that's how he chooses to go. And, of course, the Elspeth in his hand is now much better protected than it was.
Yep.
And Brandon knows about it.
Elspeth online next turn.
Yep.
And make 2/2 tokens.
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah.
I'm not a greedy man. I'll take 2/2 tokens.
It'll be interesting to see how if a Naya Walker deck can survive next rotation. It's the only thing really I think it's missing is outside of the Shocklands, of course, is the Mizium Mortars.
Yeah, You lose none of the planeswalkers you're playing,
No.
and you still have Sylvian Targeted, which means in a format where people are really going to be pushing these shards and having early ready access to 3 colors, the green decks certainly seem like a good place to start. They're going to have access to Targeted, they're going to have access to Rattleclaw Shaman, that new card that's been spoiled, that produces rug colors.
Yes.
That card seems very good.
Yes, no, to hers right, we said rug.
Rug colors. I don't even know what the new shard name is.
I don't care. Although I will admit, the bug shard or con is cool because we get some D&D monsters like
we do.
Nagas and
Rakshasas.
Yeah, Rakshasas.
We have Cat Demon as a creature type.
Yes.
I love Cat Demon.
Oh, that's right, they are demons. I can go in my Kalia ADH deck.
There you go. Cat Demons all day long.
Cats and angels and demons, oh my!
Yeah, that's what you want.
That's EDH for you, folks, in a nutshell. So, Brandon played an Overgrown Tomb app.
He is looking at a very hostile board state and trying to formulate a plan. I would think that your plan has got to involve Hero's Downfall before a whole lot longer goes by. You got to get the Ajani off the table first, I would imagine, but man, that Elspeth is just lurking up there.
Yeah.
A turn that goes by where if you pass turn here and Kyle gets to activate both Ajani and Elspeth, not to mention Chandra,
Right.
But just Ajani and Elspeth is going to be very hard, I think, a very hard game to win for Brandon. So you really have to take stock and determine he sees another land is coming, which isn't going to be a lot of help.
No.
Boy, you know what he wants in this deck right now? An Ingaruk's Wake.
Yes, he does! Oh my goodness. Let's jam this 9-mana sorcery in there.
Yep.
Your board's gone. And we're tied.
I would be very excited to see Garuk's Wake resolved in this particular matchup.
I think that moment that happens on camera here at the DMC, we would need to screenshot that.
Yep, I think we just stop for the night. Like, what else are you going to look forward to at that point?
Just make it a banner we would like post everywhere, or the back of our t-shirts.
Yep. Well, we're waiting on a word set here. I will plug DaytonMagicClubWebsite.com. If you've visited it in the past, we thank you. If you wondered where the updates have gone, I had a baby. Joe went back to school, but now we have some fresh personnel, some fresh equipment. We're really excited to get back into the publishing game too. So keep an eye on us. We just added a new forum. Come register for your account there and check out our new content that'll be coming shortly at DaytonMagicClubWebsite.com.
Yes, I will be back to writing articles soon. Life throws curveballs from time to time.
It does a little bit.
You've got to get one in for Preeminent Captain. It's a card I would like to see busted come next rotation.
Oh yeah, I do like that one. Jacob Ross has articles, and if you've been reading DaytonMagicClubWebsite.com, you can see some good ones by Scott Campbell already. He's got many up there. Jacob Ross has a bunch of them up there. I've written a couple. It's we try to promote the local tournament scene, local casual scene, anything to do with local Magic the Gathering in Southwestern Ohio. So,
yep.
Here comes Elspeth. This is the doomsday scenario we talked about earlier.
Yes. And no response after the tokens were made, so I don't think he's got a downfall.
No, I don't think he's got it, which is tough. He puts all 3 tokens
on
the Sylvan Targeted.
I guess if you're fearing BioBlight, putting that on the tokens.
They are hexproof. Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Like, I just wasted that power on Johnny and my guys died.
Yep, I agree. That is, I thought I was confused about it, but no, that's just playing around BioBlight.
Yep. Single Very Charm too.
Yep. What it does also is now he's got just this monster blocker that can actually start threatening to kill Brandon's attackers. We just build up this huge army of tokens.
Yeah, ginormous.
I like it. Oh, it's a good play. It's a heads-up play. I don't think BioBlight blows you out here too bad, though. You still have 2 hexproof blockers and 3 planeswalkers, but play around it when you can, for sure.
Maybe Brandon is looking at this thinking, man, if I had this and the new Sorin, that'd be really good.
Boy, I like the new Sorin.
Yeah, that first line, folks, in case you haven't seen the new Sorin, says +1/+0 until your next turn.
Until your next turn.
So you're
and
carried,
lifelink.
Right, and lifelink. So you're carried to there's a 1/3 plant. And hey, look, there's a Advent of the Worm token.
Yeah, Brandon will end of turn Advent of the Worm.
And Kyle's like, I got blockers.
Looks like an Abrupt Decay on top of the deck. Not going to do a ton.
Nope.
Yeah, Kyle playing very cautiously here. which I think is fine. He's got an incredible board position. You can really take your lines here. Make sure you don't throw it away.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, we may have to zoom back the camera if Kyle plays anymore.
Yep. And we're going to keep putting those tokens. What this came down from, Brandon, that's an Archangel Spoon.
Oh, yeah.
So Archangel Spoon plus Scavenging Ooze
That seems good.
threatens to give Brandon a good, powerful flying attacker, which really could be a big game here. I don't know what Kyle has to get through the large toughness flying attacker. It could start chewing down some planeswalkers until Elspeth can finish it off. I mean, Brandon's board is no slouch either here. He has a lot of ways to gain incremental life, which will trigger the Archangel, which will let him start making some attackers that are going to require an answer.
Yeah.
But before that can happen, Kyle will get to untap again.
5/5 trampling tokens that have counters on them.
Yeah.
Those seem pretty good. Yeah, Elspeth, I think she is big enough to blow up these guys. So this is quite interesting.
Yeah, you think you want to get Archangel in there at least once to chop down the Elspeth so it can't minus?
I believe he has a Golgari Charm in there, though, representing the swamp and the forest open there.
That could be very good. Kyle's going to get to see a lot of cards if he wants to, though.
Yeah.
Next turn.
But this is kind of what you were talking about here with the mid-range decks, where, you know, this is kind of the perfect storm for both of them, where we get to see all the contents of both players' decks.
Absolutely.
We are at that point of the game where both have curved up equally.
Yep.
And now we got to see which one pushes over the top of the next one.
Yep, absolutely. That's really the struggle here. The kind of a struggle of Standard lately has been you either got to get low to the ground and end the game on turn 4, or it's just a combination, just a bunch of decks that are all trying to do the biggest thing. It's a bunch of decks trying to go over the top of one another.
Yes.
And Elspeth seems to be the best way to do that more consistently.
Getting in on the ground.
Might as well. What are you doing, blocking?
The creatures are big enough, so. Normally when Magic players show up to a store, trading out of binders isn't really the only trade that they're going to be looking at.
That's true. So now we're going to see. Well, the card hit is a 3/6.
Yes.
So that is definitely big enough to get in front of the 1 pick.
Yes. Chumps with tokens?
Then we may see, depending on where these creatures are going, Kyle has to prioritize. His life total is low enough, not creepily low, but low enough that these big creatures threaten to take a big chunk. Too many planeswalkers, he has to determine which ones he needs to prioritize protecting. Looks like we're going to get full blocks here. Kyle really decided what to do with that token. The 6-power Trampler.
Is that Trampler going at Kyle or is it going at Elspeth?
That's the question. Yeah, I don't know where it's going. Either way, Kyle looks like he's not going to try to finish off the Worm token here. He's just going to chump across the board, counting on his planeswalkers to give him enough advantage to overcome losing all these blockers.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ouch for Kyle here. Elspeth killing the Archangel of Doom.
Yes.
Is good. You do really run the risk, and the Worm token. That's good. That's pretty good.
That's a good start.
Overload of Mizzy Mortars isn't particularly impressive here because the creatures are mostly so big.
Yeah, because Courser is a 3/5 at the moment. He still has that Chain of the Rocks in him, though.
Yeah. Probably just respecting all the enchantment removal, looking for a chance to maybe just open a window with it rather than counting on it to be a permanent source of removal.
Right. I'm sure that Brandon is not playing Back to Nature, the enchantment blowout card,
Yeah.
as Courser Krupix is an enchantment herself. But looks like things died,
Yep. Damage.
just
happened
like in Game of Thrones.
consistently and thoroughly.
Yes.
Comments with draw stuff. All right. We got 3 planeswalkers activating a bunch of mana to cast spells with. What are we gonna do?
It's like he's playing blue without having blue.
I'm very excited to see how this turn plays out. So, first thing Elspeth's going to do, as we expected, looks like Elspeth is ticking down.
And he asked Brandon, do you have it?
4 more, he says. Which means you could save your Archangel of Thune. Well, you can regenerate it, yeah. Does not have it.
Oh. The struggle is real.
Man, Elspeth is a good magic card.
Yes, she is. So much so that Heliod killed her.
Yep. Sad story.
That bastard.
And
We have...
Force of Perfect, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at the top card. Can't quite make out what that card is from here.
Oh, it's Temple Garden.
Oh, there you go.
And
Clear that top off.
And
From the land.
Yep.
Now, you have 2 choices here. You could exile it away
Yes.
with Chandra. What are we doing?
Oh, some more mana. Something timing.
Oh, something exciting. Maybe a Xenagos?
Oh.
No, I don't. Yeah, that's a Xenagos.
Yes, there it is.
It's happened.
Ta-da! Achievement.
Yep. All 4 walkers. Like I said, he could be playing Nissa. I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing Nissa.
Nope.
And there's his Satyr token.
Freaking owlbear.
I love it.
Another Dungeons & Dragons monster reference.
Yep. All night long.
Is there Monster Manual out yet?
I don't know.
For 5th edition?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. You can check here at the store.
Yeah. Because you get more for not just Magic, but all your games.
All your games.
Game Haven.
Very comprehensive game selection.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
absolutely.
So,
We haven't activated Johnny yet.
we have not activated a Johnny. Knows there's land on top. Could power through it with a Johnny. Could scry it off with Elspeth if you don't want it. But he's going to power through it with a Johnny. Finds a bunch of lands. Power out those.
Here's
And
another plan.
I carted. Brandon does not seem impressed.
Is that an Elspeth on top?
Yes, it is.
That's pretty good.
And we know Brandon is drawing a pretty useless Abrupt Decay. Not going to do much here. All of Kyle's stuff is either hexproof, costs more than 4, or pretty irrelevant. So,
Does Polish Crusher get rid of enchantments?
it does.
Brandon seems to have an enchantment on the board. Wouldn't that be hilarious to see one Miser's Polish Crusher here?
Man, I've always kind of liked Polo's Crusher. It never really found a home, which is sad.
The whole foot into things here.
It's so good.
I can just see that happening next standard. People losing their coursers on enchantment removal and table flipping.
I love it. Man, Chandra getting pretty close to threatening an ultimate. I don't know how relevant her ultimate is in this deck.
War Leader's Helix?
Yeah, I would love it.
That would be insane.
The one time I ever ultimated her in mono red, I flipped. My only spell was Shock. Did 6 damage, which was fine, but not the big exciting turn I was really hoping for.
You missed it Monday night when I was here. I ultimated Chandra. I was facing a lot less troll with 2 swamps open. I angered the god 3 times. It got the job done.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to eat some guys with Scavenging Ooze. Kyle pretty content to just sit back. It looks like we...
If Elspeth is at 3, it can blow up that ooze, and then he can deploy another Elspeth.
That's true.
Make tokens.
I believe Elspeth is at 2,
and
which
then-
means she can still plus,
Yeah.
make some guys, then do that, then play Elspeth, and plus her again.
Right, and then make a bunch of mana with Xenagos, and go to Funky Town.
Yep, that's where you're going to go. Just a bunch of Planeswalkers.
There we go. Let's just align the board state in a way that...
Planeswalkers behind the dudes.
Good job.
Yep. Just the impenetrable wall of tokens.
Kyle definitely playing to the camera here. We appreciate it.
So we know Kyle's got another Elspeth. Brandon's got a hero's
Is
downfall.
that a hero's downfall? Like turn what 100?
Yep.
Finally.
Killing the Chandra, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I obviously you decided Elspeth's on the target because he's got another one.
Right.
I think you make a good case for a Johnny as a good target.
Kyle chump blocks with
Could
items
not
there.
chump block any faster.
Yes.
Now we activate our Planeswalkers. Johnny pluses finds
There's some
Pelucranos. Pelucranos is going to be pretty good here.
Wait, hold on. I don't think you'll play it yet.
Make more mana with Xenagos. Tapping his Planeswalkers to indicate which ones he's activated so far this turn. You got to keep him straight somehow.
No, I think we just use a land and. Oh no, he's got 4 creatures. Yeah, there you go. +1 Xenagos to make that happen.
And boy, he's threatening to be monstrous in a very serious way next turn. Another Elspeth activation.
6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 mana before lands.
Yep.
Or 9 mana before lands.
Mm-hmm.
Seems good.
Yeah, another land on top.
Sure, why not?
We'll scry. You don't like it. I don't know what we're looking for at this point, but
more lands.
More land, why not?
Brandon representing he has enough lands. I'm just putting them all in one pile.
I have enough. I can cast my spells. Yep.
Just more dudes.
Pelucranos is going to be just vast and cosmic in size. Brandon, seeing the writing on the wall here, doesn't really have any outs.
I hear that if you monsters Pelucranos enough, it turns into Godzilla.
Yeah, that is really, and if there's any truth to that, we're going to see it happen right now.
Oh, there's a Blood Baron.
Okay, that's a real magic card.
Yes.
I don't know if it's good enough to stop Pelucranos the Mighty here.
No. Can he monstrous enough to kill everything?
Okay. He's going to +1 Elspeth.
Right.
Which is basically Dark Ritual.
Yes, it is. Let's see what other box of tokens I have. Oh, hey, here's some soldiers.
So he's got access to 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 mana.
Good lord.
He's counting that up, coming to the same conclusion.
So yeah, let's just burn the cycle. We get more mana. And
which means if he has 21 mana, he can monstrous for 10.
Yes.
That's not quite enough to clear the whole board, but he can kill the Blood Baron and the Scavenging Ooze, or the Blood Baron and the Courser. Are we going? Oh, he's going to eat in response. No, he's saying, I'm not targeting the Scavenging Ooze. Wait until your guys are dead if you want. Oh, I think he didn't. Well, no, I don't know. Just not worried about Ooze. This is the one Brandon controlling the top of his deck. Ooze is just a dude at this point, right? That's pretty irrelevant.
Yeah, and I think that Duress is a dead card for me.
I would agree with that assessment as well. I can't see a situation where Duress does anything at all here. So, Pelucranos is a 15/15.
Yes.
He's probably going to get in the red zone.
And we found the answer to our question. Pelucranos actually just turned into a pair of dice.
It's a little anticlimactic. I'm honestly a little disappointed. Now we're going to pump up the tokens.
Yes. Sure.
We'll get in for
all this damage.
A lot. It's Pelucranos 15 is 21, 23 damage. It's not even lethal. Brandon does not have to block here.
Right. I'm glad you're here to add this up. I left my abacus at home.
Because of the way this game is played out, Brandon could just take it and just to see where the top of his deck puts him, but
he's going to eat 3 creatures, it looks like.
Yep. He's scrapping. You got to respect a scrapper. I do.
Yes, there are scrappers all over this room. People do not just auto scoop. They will play it out to a point where it's like, I cannot conceivably win, and then they'll scoop.
Yep. Brandon, just body language indicating he does not have Garruk's Wake in his deck.
Yes. There's an amount of frustration there, which I can definitely understand.
This board state he's staring down is one of the most absurd I've ever seen.
Yes. He needs a damnation in the worst way.
Yeah. Even Damnation's not even all that good here.
No.
Because he gets the amount of power Kyle gets put back on the board.
Yeah.
He gets 3, 5, and then 3. Yeah, he gets put 8 power right back on the board.
And he stamps the rest of it. I'm sorry, Brandon. This is just wow.
He fought, he was he developed, like we said, what looked like a very good draw for him, a very good board.
Yeah.
And it just got swept away by the tide. I think Brandon's in that awkward spot where he's not fast enough to get in under what Kyle's doing.
Yeah.
And if the game goes long, he can't go quite over the top. He needs a very specific sequence of early discard, mid-game removal, and hope Kyle is just out of gas at time to start deploying those Blood Barons and those Life Bane zombies and your finishers there.
Yeah. That hero's downfall just came way too late. And he probably would have been served well with a merciless eviction. But if anybody ever asks you why Xenagos is such an expensive card, you need to show them this match.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Xenagos do what Xenagos does,
yes.
Make a couple of guys, but when it really came down to it, just power this insane engine between all your planeswalkers and all your mana guys, and just having these big mana sinks like Pelucano. So you can see the synergies of Kyle's deck I really like. Yeah, a lot of the pieces work really, really well together.
Looks like there was a Steadfast there that he brought in.
Oh, I like that.
So yeah, that's a pretty saucy deck there by Mr. Kyle McDaniel.
And Brandon's had a lot of success with the deck. It's obviously a good deck. It's very powerful. I think this matchup might be a little awkward for it. I think you really want to draw if your draws pan out a very specific way with early discard to really back up your disruptive elements in the mid game, it could go a little differently. Here we saw no hero's downfalls until the very end of the game. Discard came very late.
Yes,
it's just the danger of playing this kind of deck. Sometimes you get those draws, and Kyle's draws developed very well. It was just all like mana guys early and planeswalkers late, right? If you draw that in reverse, this deck I can see being a little clunky.
Yeah.
But a good show from Kyle this round.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to our victor. Our condolences to Brandon Davis.
Absolutely.
Good luck for the rest of your tournament. He's still alive. 5 rounds in this room.
Yeah, we're only 40% done, so we're less than halfway there.
Absolutely. So be sure to tune in for round 3. We'll find some sweet ones for you. I think this one was pretty sweet.
This one was. Glad we had this on camera.
So we'll update you on how our players are doing as the night goes on. So check back here soon. We'll have round 3 started. Thanks.